congratulations to Coach Fuente and Virginia Tech in a hard-fought victory. I'm glad to take questions.
Okay, we're going to start with Jeff White, then Bennett Conlon, and then Mike Barber.
Bronco, the offense had been so productive and generally efficient, ever since Brennan came back from the concussion, and then went for 75 yards for a touchdown on the first drive tonight. What happened after that, and was that development a surprise to you?
Yeah, it really was. Virginia Tech played the run against us very well, and the coverage variety and different looks made us more hesitant than normal, and that affected our execution. And so certainly a big game, lots of emotion, a unique setting and a challenging setting, and then just some variety of different looks that are happening during the play. I think all those things compounded just to not make us as consistent.
Coach, you're down 20 at halftime. I think that was maybe the biggest halftime deficit, at least with a healthy Brennan Armstrong. What was the message for you, and did the team sort of deliver on that the second half?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of screaming and yelling or anything else. It was just execution. We gave up 2 giant plays on defense, and we were inconsistent on offense. And so it was just a matter of executing our way back into the game. And when we closed it within 30 to 15, it looked like, that could be a really strong finish and a competitive ending, and then some turnovers got in the way from there.
Yeah, Bronco, I'm curious, when you put so much emphasis on Big Tech and the rivalry, and understandably, what is the impact then in a year where it doesn't go your way?
Yeah, it's immediate motivation to get it right the next time, and that's it's our goal and desire to win the state every single year, not every other year or less frequently than that. And it doesn't happen unless it's intentional, and it doesn't happen if it's just a regular game. So, we're motivated already to get back to work.
Okay, we'll go to Jackson Goodlake, Jeff White, and then back to Bennett Conlon.
Yeah, Coach, it looked like Tech was maybe going to run out the clock there at the end of the first half. How deflating was that late Tavion Robinson touchdown just going into the half?
Yeah, really frustrating because it looked like I was all the way across the other side of the field, but it looked like an outcut that we pushed him out of bounds, which we didn't push him out of bounds. And so, it was hard to even imagine that happened. So really frustrating, and certainly an execution mistake on our part.
Bronco, the defense has had some problems of late. How much of that do you attribute to the injuries and attrition and not having a full complement of players, and how much is just poor execution and breakdown?
Hard to say which is like dialing exact percentages, but it clearly is both. It's not only the consistent complement of personnel, but it's also the execution and in real time and under the circumstances in the game of plays that have to be made. So it's both.
Coach, losing to Virginia Tech, obviously, does it sting more knowing the game was sort of out of reach in the final minutes of the fourth quarter? Is this the way your team performed?
I think it hurts kind of no matter what. And the things that are controllable that we didn't control, which again really comes down to the precision and the assignment soundness and the consistency, those are the things that I always take personally and would like to see at an elite level, and that didn't really reflect how we played from beginning to end.
Next, we'll go to Mike Barber, then Preston Willett, and then back to Jeff White.
Yeah, Bronco, I'm curious, and I know it's hard right after a game to answer questions like this, but what is your thought on if your team would accept a bowl invitation, or do you feel like this was the final game of 2020 for you guys?
Our team will choose that. We haven't talked about it yet, and we'll address that. We have a team meeting on Monday. Our team, I supported them when they chose to play the season, and they'll determine whether they're ready to get back to work for next season after spending time with their families for Christmas, or if they want to play one more time, should there be an invitation. But I'll support them.
Bronco, you kind of see the emotions early on
there for y'all. The sideline was behind it. Did you kind of feel that tapering off after each blow that kind of Virginia Tech delivered?
No, I really didn't. I felt a kind of a growing resolve, and so it might not have been as noticeable in terms of jumping up and down, but the comment, the commit, or the verbal support and the commitment and kind of the body language, I actually think it was heightening. It just wasn't as visible.
Bronco, it was 10-7 when Tech muffed that punt and Hunter Stewart recovered. To not come away in that situation with at least the field goal, did that feel like, kind of a momentum swing and a lost opportunity?
Sure. It felt more like a lost opportunity, and certainly momentum was part of that. But when you have those kind of opportunities in games like this, you have to come away with points. That's just how you win rivalry games.
Next up, we'll have Bennett Conlon, then Mike Barber, and then Jackson Bidlake. Check that, make it Preston Willett.
Coach, the running backs I think only had 4 carries. Is that solely game flow, or is there something there you saw that sort of led you to go away from running back?
Yeah, I would say it was mostly game flow, and unfortunately that affected not only the game flow, right? And so anytime you become one-dimensional like that, it's usually less effective.
Coach, you spoke this week a little bit about the challenges Khalil Herbert and what he can do. How did it manifest tonight, and what did you think of his play?
I think he's a physical running back that ran really effective, and again, outside of the one giant run, they were just ahead of the chains a lot. Third and manageable was kind of where they kept it throughout the game because of the run game.
Coach, I don't know if this, if you thought about this at all, but does the kind of the way this game went today, does that leave any more of a sour taste in your mouth? Just whether this or not this is the end of the season?
Well, I think any game that we don't play well in or we don't win is a challenge, and so if it ends the season, that's just one more thing to remember and carry as motivation into the next season. It's happened before, and I'm sure it'll happen again in my career. It doesn't take away from the commitment and all the effort the guys have put into this point.
We have time for 2 more questions. It'll be Bennett Conlon and Mike Barber.
Which the team coming in on a 4-game winning streak, everybody on the offense seemed really confident. I guess, how surprised are you to have this team-wide performance tonight?
Yeah, I would love to say that I knew how any game would go before we played it. I think that's rarely happened, and there's always twists and turns, and tonight was no exception. And try to predict and prepare and expect as much as possible, and it certainly didn't go as I expected.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned some of the different looks they gave you in the back end, but they also seemed like they were able to get some pressure on Brennan. What did you see from their defensive line, but also some of their blitzes?
Yeah, really nothing new. Just the same things that we had prepared for. But in this setting, a little faster, a little more effective, and made us a little bit more uncertain than what we would have hoped from, pretty consistently.